Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Not Gambling Advice, the baseball betting stream. My audio's coming in. What's going on, everybody? Again, another day of baseball. It is Tuesday, April 11th. Pretty sure that's the right date. I think I got it wrong yesterday. Doesn't matter. We're here for winners. I have my picks today. We're going to go over the model. No prize picks entry today because I have been cheeks. W transparency. I've been cheeks. We lost on Kyle Gibson. We're going to do a quick recap, all that kind of stuff. Some housekeeping things to get in before we get into the picks. We have 9 cappers that are going to come on. One thing, of course, we are using BetMGM lines. So use code JB200. Wager $10 on any MLB game and get up to $200 in free credits. If you are a bigger bettor, might I advise using code JustBaseball because they will match your deposit up to $1,000. Again, other people are going to be giving out prize picks entries. So if you want to use them on prize picks for all new users, make sure to use code JustBaseball when you download for a full instant deposit match up to $100. Just a reminder, the stream is still new, so just for anyone coming in, the goal of the competition is to win units, right? We're going to tally everyone's units at the end of the season, and now we're early on, so when a capper comes on, I'll let you know how they're doing to let you know whether you should tail or fade, or maybe they're on a heater, so now it's time to fade, or any version of that. We will be completely transparent with you. And at the end of the season, whoever has the most amount of units will win World Series tickets, and second place gets a $500 cash prize. But root for me, because if I win or I finish second, my prize goes to a subscriber of the Twitch channel. We have a really great show today. Cappers coming on. I got my picks, model, recaps, the whole 9 yards. Let's get into it because we have an enormous slate of games today, and I'm really excited. Producer Cohen, let's bring up. Well, first, before we bring it up, we got some first-time chats, and we got UNLV94 subbed with Prime. You're a king. Thank you, my friends, for subscribing. Remember, if you subscribe to this Twitch channel and I win, you could be picked to win World Series tickets or a $500 cash prize. Producer Cohen, let's do a quick recap of yesterday. So we banged our game picks. It looked pretty good, right? Houston, Pittsburgh. It was one of the easiest sweats of the season. We had the over because I said Roansy, excuse me. He's a guy who struggles with command against the Astros. That's not a good recipe for success. And while Framber's a great pitcher, I think he's due for 2 to 3 runs. Framber did his job where he gave up 2 runs, but it was really on the backs of the Astros where they just steamrolled the Pittsburgh Pirates, and that game hit, in the 5th inning? That was a no-sweat bet. The second one, we had the New York Mets versus San Diego Padres under 4, another real no-sweat. I think the only sweat was the Mets got a couple runners on against Yu Darvish, and it ultimately didn't matter because it finished 2 runs under the first 5 total, which was already really strong, or really low, excuse me. It was already really low, finished 2-0 at the end of 5 innings, that cashed. But let's recap that windy Wrigley over because it was a bunch of cheeks, right? We have over 8, moved to 9, and a lot of people were upset. Well, luckily for everyone who took 9, I didn't hit it either because it finished on 5 runs. It was a low-scoring game. I'm still in shock that the Mariners couldn't score against Drew Smyly. Blew my mind. And I assume the Cubs were going to score 2, maybe 3 runs against Luis Castillo. They put up 2, but I really thought it'd be on the backs of the Mariners. I thought the Cubs could then keep it close against that Mariners bullpen. Ultimately, none of that happened. It went under 2-1. And then let's talk about our prize picks entry because that was, again, cheeks. And, a lot of the prize picks entries so far, we've been losing on one leg. One leg hits, the other one doesn't. This one, both legs didn't hit. It was garbage. Kyle Gibson, tons of volume, plenty of volume, exactly what I expected. No strikeout stuff. Walk in the world, stuff was not to the level that I thought it was going to be, wasn't to the level of his second start. A big reason why we bet on it. And then we had Zach Allen under 6.5 Ks, one of the worst props of the year, considering he had 11. His stuff was back, but it's also on the backs of that umpire whose strike zone was a half mile wide. It was as wide as the Pacific Ocean, just as wide as you can imagine something to be wide. It was that wide. Now, can't handicap that, of course, but we move on. Otherwise, good day. Bring up that graphic again, Producer Cohen. What did we finish up on the day? 0.45. We'll take that every day of the week. Profit is profit. Depending on your unit size, that could still be sizable. And depending if you have a still small unit, profit is profit. So that was the recap yesterday. We're currently up 3.13 units in the competition so far, and that's after having crap prize picks entries over and over and over again. That's on me. I need more data. We will be better on the prize picks entry side, but the game picks, that's where I roll. We're having a solid-ish season so far. 3 units. I think I'm up whatever. It's like around 4 units on the season outside of the competition. Good. If you took all of them, you're making money. Not enough, though. Right? Not enough. I want more. I'm getting greedy here, and I have 2 picks in the same game pushing all the chips in. All the chips in on my favorite pick of the day because I don't really love the board. But, of course, we're going to go over the model. We're going to talk about the games, why I don't lean towards a certain side. I have leans but not bets. 2 picks, the same game. Producer Cohen, let's get into it. We're rolling with the first 5 over 4.5. Now, I know it's moved to 5. I would still take it. Maybe lower the unit size a little bit. I have 0.6 units on that. And then in the second part of this bet is the full game over 8.5. Of course, it has moved to 9 in most places. If you can find 8.5, obviously I like that more. The thing is why these are key numbers in baseball. So, for example, I only need 9 runs for it to hit. If you bet at 9, you need 10. Pretty sizable difference. But here's why. Here's why I think it soars over both totals, and I think both numbers are safe, and I really would play this. Let's talk about the first 5 under first. So the pitching matchup today is going to be Ryan Weathers versus David Peterson. And this bet reminds me a lot of Framber Valdez versus Roansy Contreras, but it's worse. Better for us, worse for the starting pitchers. And this is something new that I'm trying because remember, it's still early on in the season. The model is still adjusting to the new rules. I'm still adjusting to the new rules. But this is something that I think will work over time. And it starts today. It actually started yesterday, which we hit. Today it starts today, for lack of a better word. So both Ryan Weathers and David Peterson have solid stuff, right? But we don't really care about their stuff. Roansy Contreras has great stuff. Framber Valdez has great stuff. But the issue is command, right? And with the pitch clock, we saw with Roansy, if you get in these holes, runs can pile on quickly. So when we look at it, right? Ryan Weathers, let's start with him, 23 years old. His velocity jumped, right? Last year was around 94, but he's not a guy with tons of experience. But it did jump in his last start from 94 miles an hour to 95, 96. The problem with that, there's no real problem with more velocity, but the problem with that is the average exit velocity off the bat was actually harder than it came in. 96.7 miles an hour average exit velocity. That's not a good area of success. And if you consider that the Mets are better than the team he faced, the Arizona Diamondbacks, on offense, the Mets should have a good day. But it's not just the fastball, right? Because the Mets can hit a fastball. All teams can hit a fastball, but he obviously has other pitches. So if you saw in my article this morning, you can see a graph where I included from Baseball Savant how the Mets have performed against changeups, because that's Ryan Weathers' second most used pitch. Pete Alonso, Brandon Nimmo, Francisco Lindor, Starling Marte, Tyler Naquin, who's not on the team anymore, doesn't matter, but Daniel Vogelbach, Eduardo Escobar, Mark Canha, Jeff McNeil. That's the whole lineup, ladies and gentlemen. They are all above average against changeups. Last year, this year, their careers, guys don't really switch depending on the pitch. Like, if you're good against a pitch, like you see a certain pitch pretty well, unless it's like a Devin Williams changeup. Lucky for us, Ryan Weathers' changeup after his first start. So we saw the fastball velo jump, but the changeup graded, and we talk about Stuff Plus all the time, graded as a 78 on Stuff Plus. That is terrible. It's terrible. That is terrible, objectively. Threw it 35.6% of the time against the Arizona Diamondbacks. And it didn't perform all that well. But the pitch that did was the slider, commonly referred to as a sweeper, because it's a little bit slower. It's around 84 miles an hour. He threw it about 16% of the time. Now, could that be his out pitch? Of course. But then you look at the Mets lineup, and they can hit sliders. If we look at some of the best hitters in the Mets lineups against sliders, you got Nimmo, you got McNeil, you got Canha, you got Alonso, you got Marte. You got a lot of good hitters in the Mets lineups that hit well off these two pitches. Now, Ryan Weathers, command issues, young pitcher, on the road. And if we're looking at what Citi Field has looked like, especially yesterday, a lot of energy. You know, this is also an energy bet. Because when we look at how the Mets played against Darvish, they killed him. And Darvish has been their daddy, right? 5 runs. The energy was crazy. They were playing like little kids in the terms of that excitement was there. I say that in the best way possible. Really, really exciting performances from the New York Mets. Really love their energy. Now, let's talk about the San Diego Padres, right? Because they're the other portion of this. And it basically what I proved is that, the Mets win by 60. Not so fast. Not so fast. David Peterson has been objectively terrible to start the year. Right? We look at his xERA, 6.04, which implies that his 6.00 ERA hasn't been unlucky, right? There's guys right now in the league who have a 6 ERA who have a 3.5 xERA, basically meaning the batted ball luck was unlucky. Not against David Peterson. And David Peterson's problem is that he's going to face a bunch of righties. And now there's some lefties in baseball that can get out both lefties and righties, but David Peterson has not been able to. This season, righties have a 1.147 OPS against David Peterson. Lefties, under 700. Righties last season, 723 OPS. We expect that number to come down. Of course, he's not going to have an 1100 OPS against righties all season, because if he did, he'd be out of the league and probably pitching in a men's league near you. But he's better than that, but he's still not that great. And when we look at some of the Stuff Plus, right? Because when we talk about Stuff Plus, what they do is they grade your pitches. And do you know where David Peterson ranks in Stuff Plus? I'll give you a hint. Bad. Like, ranked near Josiah Gray of the Nationals, who's a home run machine, and Adam Oller of the A's, who you may not know, and for good reason, you don't know him. You might. And if you do, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't know who Adam Oller is, there you go. There's your answer, right? So when we look at a guy like David Peterson, he's going to face a lineup in San Diego who's 70% righties, right? Let's go down the list. Xander Bogaerts. Yeah, he's pretty good. What about Manny Machado? You like him? Yeah, I do too. What about Nelson Cruz? He's pretty good off guys who don't throw that hard, and David Peterson is 93, 94. What about Ha-Seong Kim? We're seeing him homer. He's been hitting really well. He hit well yesterday. What about Austin Nola? Can only hit lefties. That's another righty in the lineup. Jose Azocar, we'll see. But again, he struggles against right-handed hitters. Jose Azocar, right-handed hitter. He's a professional baseball player. He should be able to hit. Juan Soto is also another player to watch because Juan Soto doesn't give a shit if you're a lefty or a righty. He has a good eye at the plate. Against David Peterson in his career, 1 for 6 with 3 walks. Okay. So, not a lot of hits so far in limited sample, but seeing the ball really well, which is key because I need him to get on base for the Manny Machados of the world, the Xander Bogaerts of the world, and more. So, that's why I like the first 5 over because I think both David Peterson and Ryan Weathers are in for a tough day. But it doesn't end there. This is why I like the full game over too. When we look at both bullpens, yes, Padres will have Josh Hader available. But if I don't bet it over because they have the closer available, then we'll never make money because we never will have picks. Guys have closers, they're good. I'm not expecting the Mets to score off Josh Hader. Who I am expecting them to score off is Luis Garcia, who I'm pretty concerned about right now. He's pitched 3 2/3, bunch of walks, hits, give up 5 earned runs. He's got like an 8-something ERA. I don't remember what it exactly is, but I know he's in 3 2/3. Here are the stats. 3 walks, 5 hits, 5 earned runs in 3 2/3 innings. That's not good. The Padres bullpen, there's something about it I don't love. And when then you factor in the Mets bullpen, all 3 of their high leverage guys threw yesterday. Adam Ottavino, David Robertson, Drew Smith, all threw. Now, they should be available today, but after throwing 15, 18 pitches, you're not going to be as strong, right? So there's a lot of areas here. And my last point on this game, the San Diego Padres, we knew to fade them, to fade their offense off Sunday Night Baseball. If we remember, we did that with the Phillies too, right? Actually, I didn't, but I told you to do it because I banned myself from betting on the Yankees and they played the Yankees. What did they do the next game? They put up 4 runs against a better pitcher than the than the Padres are going to face today. The Padres have a really good lineup. They're going to love to see David Peterson a lefty because they have all these righties and David Peterson struggles against righties. A lot of different factors here. That's why I'm pushing all the chips in. And the line moved from 4.5 to 5, from 8.5 to 9. Again, would still play both. Maybe don't go as crazy because, of course, I love it. The fact it can end on 5, I win. End on 9, I win. If you play those, it would push. But overall, I think it soars over both. In reality, I think it's like 3-3, 4-3 after 5. And I think the game ends 8-6, 7-6. I think it flies over. My favorite pick of the day, spreading it out. I think it hits both in the first 5 and the full game. And let's have a day. Why not us? These are my picks for today. No prize picks entry. Cup of coffee. Hazelnut muffin. Tastes gross. But we're rolling, and all we need is the caffeine. Cohen. Producer Cohen. I think it's time to bring out the model. Remember, we use our ballpark model. We go over 3 games of the day. We talk about park factors, game simulations. They simulate the games 1,000 times to give you a true line based off those simulations. And then they have a matchup machine as well, so we can see some of the best player props. Let's get into the first one. Producer Cohen. Type ballparkpal.com so you can follow along. This also will be available on justbaseball.com in the coming weeks. Our first game that we want to talk about on the model is this Marlins versus the Phillies game. Shocker, right? Marlins, big favorites, which I think is crazy. This is why, like, the model will show value on every game, or not, yeah, literally every game, and then you have to use it as a starter point to do your own research, and I did. I like the Marlins, I do, but what I do know is that Jesus Luzardo is standing on his head right now, and he's going to face a Phillies lineup that is starting to roll, and that's not a good recipe because the Phillies are a team that when they build momentum, they tend to go crazy. Phillies fans know that very well. I know that very well because I faded the Phillies a lot last year, and when I fade them, they would win. When I would tail them, they would lose. I couldn't figure out their momentum. But they're one of the few teams in Major League Baseball who I wouldn't say you want to fade after putting up like 13 to 15 runs. Most teams, yes. Phillies, they're a momentum-based team. So, I think the best play in this game is the over. But, I'm getting rated? What's going on, Booker with Trent people? How are you doing? We are going over our model again. W raid. Thank you. Welcome to it. Welcome to it. Welcome to it. All right? We're going over the model right now. I went through my picks. You heard them on Trent stream. First 5 over in Padres, Mets. Then the full game over. We're pushing all the chips in, ladies and gentlemen. Pushing all the chips in. And now we're going over the model. You're right in time. We're on our first game. We're going to go over 3. Then we have 9 cappers. And the point of this Twitch stream is whoever has the most units, it's a competition. And I'm going to win. And if you subscribe, I'm giving my prize to you, which is World Series tickets and a $500 cash prize. No brainer. Stay tuned. We're going all over the baseball games today. Producer Cohen, let's get back to the model. Let's get back to the model. So, when we're looking at this Marlins versus Phillies game, quick recap for everyone who just rated. The model shows a lot of value on the Marlins. I don't like it. Personally, I just don't like the Marlins team at all. Like, they're a trendy dog normally, but I just don't like their lineup, and I think Aaron Nola pitches relatively well today. He's really due for a bounce back. And at the same time, I like Jesus Luzardo, but he's almost been pitching too well for my liking. Remember, it's like a guy has 2 really good starts, then a bad one. Remember Luis Castillo? Remember everyone and their mother saying that the Mariners were a lock at -150? How'd that go? Kind of similar here. Guys who have bad starts to start, then bounce back their third. We saw it with Zach Gallen yesterday, right? I was the idiot who was like, oh, I'm going to take Zach Gallen's under strikeouts because I'm sharp. And that looked like a freaking garbage pile of a pick. Similar thing here. We're learning. We're getting better. And right now in this game, that's why I have no pick because we have 2 guys on opposite ends of the spectrum. I would lean the over, but again, don't love it. Don't love it. But I wanted to talk about that game because I've gotten a ton of questions. Should I be on the Marlins as a dog? Should I lay juice with the Phillies? Should I be on the over or the under? A lot of different questions. My lean on this game is the over because Jesus Luzardo has been pitching too well for my liking. The model shows value on the over. But then again, Aaron Nola could shove. It's a really tough game. But let's move on to the next game of the model. Huh. Screw you, Kyle Freeland. Is Kyle Freeland the new Johnny Cueto where I just have no idea when to bet on him, when, where, how? The dude is throwing 86 miles an hour. I don't know how he's performing. I don't. And if you can tell me why, I think you're lying because I don't know. I don't think anyone on planet Earth knows how Kyle Freeland is getting it done. You could point to this location, sure, but if you're throwing 87 against Major League Baseball players, I don't know how it's possible. So I decided to get off this game. But what I do know, and what I know a lot of people want to know, is what my lean is on this game. Very popular pick, right? Tons of people on the over, tons of people on the Cardinals, Rockies, whatever way you want to slice it. A lot of people want to know about this game. And when I look at this game, I think there is decent value on the under. And I know it's crazy because Miles Mikolas is a legit batting practice machine right now. But he's got to bounce back. He's better than that. And, it's so easy to be like, yeah, Miles Mikolas, 12 ERA in Coors. He's been bad. Over. If you bet like that in Major League Baseball, you will lose long term. Could it work in April? Sure. Will it feel good right now? Maybe. But we have to be careful with that because he is a better pitcher than he's shown that he's a batting practice machine. Okay? And we look at Kyle Freeland, man, he matches up so well against the Cardinals. In terms of the Cardinals' bat should destroy him. Is it that easy? You tell me. I want to see in the comments, is it that easy? Am I reading too far into this? Is it that easy? Miles Mikolas, bad in Coors, gets crushed. He gives up 6 runs. Is it so easy that the Cardinals just match up against Kyle Freeland? Is it that easy? Is it the over? I don't know. I couldn't play the over. Of course, as you see on the model, it's showing value on the under. But it does have the Cardinals doing really well. But again, the model has its downsides. The model has its downsides. The model loves Miles Mikolas. I don't know why. I mean, I kind of know why. I kind of know why because he's a good pitcher. Or at least he was. It's a tough game. It's a tough game. If I were to play it, I wouldn't play it. But I wonder what the Rockies team total is. Let's check BetMGM right now. Because if they're giving, and I'm going online right now. And remember, these are all a part of BetMGM. If the Rockies team total is under 5.5 for plus money, I don't think that's a terrible way to play this game. And it sounds crazy because Miles Mikolas has been terrible. But at some point, does that change? Right? Where are these totals on BetMGM? How many runs will the Rockies score? And look at that. The under 5.5 is at minus 155. Something's a brewing in this game. I got a feeling that people are going to lose money on this over. It's up to 12.5 now. Consider the under. I don't have the stones to do it. But that's why we talk about these games, right? We talk it through. If you think I'm crazy, if you think my analysis sucks, to play the over. But what I will say is I'm nervous for the people on the over. I would not lie to you. I'm nervous about the people on the over. Man, that's a stinky line. Over 5.5 for the Rockies at plus 120. What, did the Cardinals put up 13 runs today? 9? Just be wary. All right, let's get to the next game on the model. Ooh, this game is fascinating. I've heard a lot of people like the Dodgers. And how can you not, right? Dustin May versus Alex Wood. Dustin May I think he's incredible. Absolutely incredible. But for some damn reason, the model is showing value on the Giants, and they're showing value on the under when everyone and their mother expects Alex Wood, to get creamed. But look at Alex Wood against the Dodgers. He's not too bad, and the Dodgers have always had these weird troubles against lefties. Now, maybe that's a trend from last year. Who knows? But it's been over the past couple of seasons. Freddie Freeman in his worst split. Max Muncy in his worst split. James Outman in his worst split. It's interesting. So I think the under is a decent play here. I really do. Now, it was one of the ones I was going to play. I will not lie to you. But I just don't know what the Dodgers are going to do. It's a really tough game. Because if you go look at what the Dodgers have done to Alex Wood, It's not too bad, right? Tough game. Basically, the point I wanted to bring up when I brought this game is that, yes, I lean the under, but should you play the Dodgers? They scored 9 runs yesterday. Are they getting hot, or is that a flash in the pan? Think about it. I kind of lean the under. The model likes the under. If you look at it, they think the line should be 7.5, right? Maybe play the Dodgers because the reason you like the Dodgers, be honest with me, because you can't say that the Dodgers just crush Alex Wood because it doesn't happen. And maybe they do today, but history would say that it doesn't. You like the Dodgers because you like their bullpen and you like Dustin May. And if the Dodgers can't really hit Alex Wood all that well and they're coming off a 9-run performance, what does that leave you with? In a pitcher's park. Because I don't know if you know, in San Francisco, bottom 5 hitter's park in Major League Baseball. Bottom 5. It's hard to hit there. Now, the Dodgers put up 9 yesterday. Consider the under. It's not one of my favorite plays in the world, but consider the under. All right? It's probably my biggest lean of the day. Biggest lean of the day, Dodgers, Giants, under 8.5 at -115 on BetMGM. I think it's a solid play. Not enough for me to bet it. I don't have the stones. But again, we're going over leans, going over why I like plays. Producer Cohen, I think it's time to welcome up, phone drop. I think it's time to welcome on some people and give out some picks. What do you say? What do you say, folks? But before we welcome anybody on, I think this is my thing is trapped. We got to get on the old headphones here. Do we have any questions that we got to answer in Twitch real quick before we welcome on people? 9 runs, but Muncy 7 RBIs, and he hasn't done anything all year. It's a good point, right? W producer, thank you. W producer Cohen. W producer Cohen. Will Smith total bases. Is that too easy? Models are useful tools, but you need theory to inform them. So go with the baseball brain. It's screaming at you, Richie Parlay. You're smart, right? We can use the model as a tool to direct us towards something, but we got to back it up with our baseball brain. Why is the over 12 when it went under yesterday, depending on the number you got? Well, they think the Cardinals match up well against Freeland. I don't know if that game goes according to everybody's plan. And I know you got line movement on your side, but I'm nervous about it. Dustin May K's, you like it? He's not a strikeout guy. Look at his strikeout totals. He's not a strikeout guy. He's an incredible pitcher, but he's not a strikeout guy. All right. Let's welcome on first. Who we got? Oh, Tomas Romo. Guys. Welcome the hottest bettor on the face of the earth. Before you even start, Tomas, we were texting yesterday. And on stream, if you were here listening, this man gave out Nationals money line with Patrick Corbin. This man, we've done about, 7 days of streaming, Tomas? And you're up 14 units? Let's just look at your plays. I just want to go through your plays because they're freaking electric. He always comes with an enormous card. First day, he was up 3.22 units. Next day, up 2.4. Next day, up 0.9. Next day, up 0.9. Next day, up 5 units. Next day, up 1.91 units. So you did lose on the Red Sox Rays, and you lost on Royals Rangers. And the only reason I'm bringing them up is because I never see you lose. So I got to make fun of you for some reason, right?
It's bound to happen. It's bound to happen.
You can't win every bet, but you've literally won every day on stream. And now you have 3 picks and a prize picks prop. Let's get into your first play of the day. Who we got for him? Oh, you're going back to the well. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why do you like the Orioles today?
It's funny you say that, Peter, because that's exactly what I wrote in my lineup. Last sentence before I said the play, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. Give me the Orioles run line. They cashed yesterday for us and then hit that team total over 4.5 in the 8th inning with 2 outs. Shout out the O's. But when I look at this game, truthfully, I see this as an opportunity for Grayson Rodriguez to have an opportunity to play in front of the home crowd and show why he is one of the top prospects in all of baseball. And from a betting standpoint, line opened up at -175. I saw it get up to almost -200 in some books. I'm not going to pay that type of juice, but if we're facing an athletics team who, by the way, has not won a game on the road. They're on a 5-game losing streak. They're batting .190 as a team, and they also have the worst run differential in all of baseball at -49. I'm going to take the O's at home. They're seeing a lefty today in Kyle Muller. They've seen what? I think it's like their third or fourth lefty in the last 6 days. The bats are hot. They're hitting the ball. They looked really good yesterday. Not a lot of, stringing together hits, but they hit some home runs. But Orioles at home, Grayson Rodriguez on the mound. It might be too good to be true, but hey, like I said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Give me the O's.
I mean, you hit yesterday. You hit the Orioles over team total, and you hit the spread. When you're hot, just keep going with what works. And live movement is on your side, no doubt about it. Orioles plus 105 now on the spread, minus 210 on the money line on BetMGM. I assume you'd still play at plus 105 for all the people listening.
Yes, I would. I was able to get it at plus 115 this morning, so I'm feeling pretty good about that, especially like you mentioned, the line movement. Yeah, plus 105, still a solid play.
Okay, next play up. Oh, a 1.5 unit bomb on the boys in blue. Tell us why.
Boys in blue, give me the Dodgers. Give me the Dodgers. And it's so upsetting because I got it at 150 this morning, and last night I saw it at minus 140, and I was like, okay, I'm really just gonna hope that it doesn't get me tomorrow.
Now it's minus 160 though, so it's jumping.
Right.
It's jumping up and down.
So this is really just a system match for me. As much as I do love Dustin May, I love the Dodgers, and I know the stats back it up that Alex Wood has been brutal against LA. But here's a stat for you, Peter. First, a road favorite who made the playoffs last year against a team that didn't is currently hitting at 61% this season. If you go back to the start of last year, hitting at 62%. Secondly, the Dodgers are 76 and 37, 66% win rate against lefty stars over the last 3 seasons. And I was able to get this at minus 150. I like the Dodgers. I like Dustin May. And a lot of these Dodger hitters have had success off of Wood. I know that there's kind of it's been a little shaky thinking of, hey, like you said, the model has some value on the Giants. But Dustin May has dominated San Francisco. 4 career starts against them, .79 ERA. Give me the Dodgers.
I can see it. I guess, the counting numbers for the Dodgers against Wood aren't great for them, but it's funny. Every single, batting average versus expected batting average, slugging versus expected slugging, WOBA, which is weighted on base average, which basically, for anyone new who cares about baseball stats, if you don't, just shut your ears for a second. But I think this is helpful for you. Weighted on base average is basically a better stat than on base percentage because it weights how you get on base, right? What's better, a walk or a triple? Well, on base percentage grades it at the same. WOBA grades the triple better, right? X-WOBA takes into account the quality of contact and how you get on base. So X-WOBA is shorter, X-slugging shorter. So the quality of contact isn't that strong off Wood, but the counting numbers have been good. That's why I'm like, is he due? Or is it just an anomaly where it's like every single time the Dodgers face Alex Wood, they just get a base hit up the middle and score 2 and they just crush them. So that's why I think the under is a good play in this game because I think Dustin May shoves, and I also think that the Dodgers bullpen looks fantastic. It's a tough one. But you're laying 1.5 units and you're hot, so who am I, right? Who am I to say? You're up 14 units on this show, and we've been live for
Can you say Tomas paying for my rent?
No, literally, Tomas is paying rent. If you tailed every single one of his plays on stream, you'd be up. $100 bettors would be up $1,400. And what are you up just on the season? Because obviously you have weekend plays and you put out more plays than just that.
Man, I think right now, let me look at it. I have the number right here with me. I am currently up 32.63 units on the season. 42 and 14 overall record.
Just be silent for a second. Let that sink in. Say it again. Just say it again.
42 and 14, up 32.63 units. I might know some ball, Peter. I don't know. I might know some ball.
Yeah. No, I think that's safe. I think that's a safe way to describe it. But you still got one more play. I mean, we ain't stopping right now. 2 plays. Oh, and also you have a prize pick century, but let's get to this first 5 under. It's interesting.
Man, this is one of those plays where I was debating back and forth with it because last night, again, I was looking and I saw the first 5 over under set 4.5. This morning, I wake up, start looking into it, and it's already at 4. I really do like Jesus Luzardo in this matchup. I think he was a guy, the past couple of years. I mean, if you remember him at Oakland, he was an up-and-coming guy for them. He threw hard, left-hander, but he couldn't throw strikes. He struggled to get guys out. He allowed a lot of walks, a lot of free passes, but he's really settled in his first 2 starts this year. I mean, 1-0, 0.71 ERA. He's only walked 5 batters across those 2 starts, striking out 15. And he made 3 starts against Philly last year, and his 1 start on the road against Philadelphia, he carved him up for 7 innings, allowing 2 runs on 4 hits. Also, too, when I look at this game for Aaron Nola, I know he's been shaky these past 2 starts. He got rocked against Texas on opening day, pitched solid against the Yankees in a loss, but he does pitch better at home. Career 44-24 record at Citizens Bank Park. Also, too, at this point, I don't trust either one of these bullpens. We've seen how bad Philly has been. That's why I'm not going to play the full game. 7.5 scares me. If you had to tell me which is it going over or under 7.5 full game, I'm probably going to lean a little bit to the over because I know someone's going to hit a 2-run home run in the top of the 8th inning or something like that because a bullpen guy comes in. I like the matchup with these 2 pitchers, so that's why I'm going to play the under 4 first half for 1 unit.
Well, line movement is again on your side. I'm almost sick of saying that to you because it's like. It's almost being like, hey, Tomas, the sky is blue. Like, it's blue. It's blue. It's getting ridiculous at this point. But the reason I keep saying it is I want people on stream who really want to tail you to know if you would play it at different prices, right? Because that's all we can do. We can make our plays, pitch them. We love them. But sometimes it's like, well, if the line moved to 2, you wouldn't take it. In this case, it's minus 130 under 4. Are you laying 1.3 units? Or would you say, all right, just put 1 unit to win like 0.8, 0.7, whatever it is?
Considering I got at minus 112.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
at that point, I'm like, you know what? What's, another 2 units, 1.8 units, whatever it is. So I'm okay with it leaning for, getting the full unit. Plus, I wish I was at 4.5, truthfully, but having, that solid number at 4, I feel good about.
Push potential.
And I'm still going to play it. I'd still play it.
There we go. Let's get to your prize picks entry.
Yep. Oh. Here we go. First 2 guys.
And you hit yours yesterday. You didn't give it out on stream because obviously you hate us and you don't want us to make money, which is fine. I get over it. But today, Mookie Betts. I mean, why not us? Mookie Betts and Marcus Semien. How come?
So, first off, yeah, that prize pick yesterday was awesome. It was a great hit. I literally looked into it after we got off stream, and I said, why not? Make it a personal play. But today, after doing some research, looking into it, even going into last night, I love these 2 guys today. First off, Mookie Betts, over 8.5 fantasy score. He's batting .643 with 3 homers in 16 plate appearances against Alex Wood. I know we mentioned the numbers earlier. He homered yesterday. He always seems to play very well against San Francisco as well. And if I'm going to lay the minus 150 with the Dodgers tonight, I'm expecting Mookie to have himself a day. I like the over 8.5 just with his ability to put the ball in the gap. As well as I've seen that in San Francisco tonight, some winds will be blowing out towards that right center area. He's a guy that can hit the ball the other way as well. I mean, at this point, all I need is a double and an RBI double, and bam, we cash it right there.
So what about Marcus Semien?
Marcus Semien, we're going to take his over 7.5 fantasy score as well. He's facing Jordan Lyles, and he's pretty much had so much success against Lyles. He's batting .500, 1 homer and 3 doubles. And I'm kind of just going back with both of these guys with the familiarity that they have between the 2 opposing pitchers that I'm going to take their fantasy score here. I know the Rangers put some runs on the Royals yesterday, losing my under. I mean, that was brutal. But I think Semien has himself a day today. And Peter, I'm going to say it. Don't be surprised if Marcus Semien goes deep today.
I love it, my man. I'm on Marcus Semien season-long hits. And the reason I love him so much is the volume, right? He's hitting leadoff for the Rangers. And in a spot like this, I need him to start hitting. Vladdy's doing his thing. Everybody else in the prize pick center is doing their thing. Semien's off to a little bit of a slow start. And can we calm down with the home runs, Jordan? Calm down, please. But otherwise, I mean, you kill it. You can find Tomas's work on justbaseball.com. He's a part of our company here at Just Baseball. Kills it on the gambling side, but again, covers the Astros as well for us at Just Baseball. Plug your Twitter because you post your plays early in the morning every day on Twitter, where you can find the article on justbaseball.com, but make sure to plug that Twitter.
Yeah, you can guys follow me on Twitter at T_Romo5 as well as on TikTok at Tomas.Romo1. But yeah, like Peter said, all my plays are going to be posted there on TikTok. They're on Twitter, as well as everything else that I write for Just Baseball. So yeah, give me a follow.
Tomas, we're going to see you soon, obviously.
Yes, sir.
And we'll probably talk about tomorrow how you won all your bets and then how all the picks you have, the line moved because it's insane. Good stuff, man. You're killing it. And I appreciate you. We'll talk to you soon.
Of course.
Later, man. Do we have Aram in queue? I know Aram was saying that he wanted to come on, and I got beef with him right now. I got beef with him. I got beef with Aram. We're on conflicting plays, which is so fun because I love it. It's a competition. How are you, dude?
I'm doing good, man. Am I in?
You're in. You're in.
Let's go.
And we're getting him on early. Usually he comes in last, but this time he's coming in first. Softball game. It's a big day.
Big day. I gotta go get after it. So I'm not gonna be able to even monitor the plays that much, which might be a good thing considering some of the picks I have. So it should be fun. I had no idea. Didn't see your pick yet. And what's funny is you only made really one pick today, and I happened to just pick the opposite.
Oh no! I mean, that means either I'm screwed or you're screwed. Like, I really hope I'm not screwed because it's my one pick. I hope you win everything else, and I just get my one.
That's fine with me. I'd rather be on your side of the aisle. When he told me before we recorded the Just Baseball show that you had one pick and it was the opposite of one of my picks, I was like, I'm toast. But I'll make my case for it. Let's was a gut pick, and that's it too. Like that, I want to preface with that. Like,
hey, but don't sell yourself short. It might hit. Like, I have 0.6 units on the first 5. Like, let's say it, lands on 4, I lose, and then it goes over in the full game. Like, we can both still be profitable here.
Yes. Should I make my case?
I'd say so.
Okay, so my first pick is the first 5 innings of Padres Mets. It's under 5 runs. David Peterson versus Ryan Weathers. And I think that pitching matchup, it was almost like you always do this thought exercise, Peter. Like, oh, it's so obvious, right? It's going to be way over. Obviously, you have sound analysis that backs it up. But that was the first thought for me where I was like, you know what? Let me try to talk myself into this under. I watched David Peterson's first start against the Marlins. And yes, he gave up 8 hits. I honestly didn't think he looked that bad. Also, he got beat up against the Brewers, gave up 5 earned runs, walked 5. A home run from Joey Weimer really put the nail in the coffin. But Peterson was a guy going into this year that I had spoken a lot about on the Just Baseball show. As someone that I thought could be just as good of an option as Jose Quintana. And I figured if I felt that strongly, I gotta take it here because this is the one place where I'm going to get value. If I'm willing to back up off of my opinion on David Peterson after 2 starts, then I'm a fraud and I'm a hypocrite. So this is more just me putting my money where my mouth is. I don't think he's going to be great, but I think he can turn in 4 or 5 innings. First start at home, I should note too. He was in Miami, then in Milwaukee. First start at home, a little bit more relaxed, works the kinks out. Just give me 5 innings of 2 runs, even 3 runs, and we've got a shot here. I think he can do that. Then on the flip side, I do think that this was a different Ryan Weathers that we saw. You talked about it before we recorded that the command is been spotty for Weathers, and that's 100% been a big part of his issue as he's continued to go up and down from the minors to the majors. But now that he's up back in the big leagues, the fastball command, not great. The changeup was ridiculously good. So I love the way the changeup looked. The fastball velocity has ticked up 95, 96 miles an hour. That helps the changeup too. I think Weathers might surprise some people. He was an auto fade for me, his first start. And then I watched and I was like, whoa, this is a different guy. So this is me trying to find a little void here. Might blow up in my face. Might be a nice little value at first 5 under 5 runs.
Can I read you something?
Yes.
So, Ryan Weathers, right, throwing harder. You know what the average exit velocity was on that fastball against the Diamondbacks? 97.
What was it?
97. Can I read you another stat?
Yeah,
the
go
Mets
ahead.
against changeups. Pete Alonso, 10-run value last year. Brandon Nimmo, 9-run value. Francisco Lindor, 8-run value. Starling Marte, 6-run value. Daniel Vogelbach, 6-run value. Eduardo Escobar, 6-run value. Marcana, 4-run value. Jeff McNeil, 3-run value.
What were the Mets
the reason
year against
I
lefties?
like it. Sorry?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was saying the reason I like it is because I actually don't mind Ryan Weathers. I think you're right about that. Like, he does look better. I'm just saying on the road with the pitch clock and the energy in New York and the Mets match up against his specific pitches, right? Because if he's a lefty that throws like a cutter or like, a bunch of other pitches. Like the changeup is his most used second offering, and the Mets just hit changeups almost as well as any team in Major League Baseball. That's why I like the over, but again, it could land on 5, we both push, or I lose and you win. That's why I'm so excited for this game. Because you know your ball and you just watch them. I watch them too, and we're just having a differing opinion. And it's funny how that could happen because we talk every day on the Just Baseball show, and we watch the same thing when they have a different opinion. It's funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great point there, too. It's funny because it's weird how they were good against changeups last year, yet struggled against lefties. And you brought up the point that they've been better so far this season against righties. But I really am interested to see what gives in this matchup here. Odds are, the Mets lineup could easily just take advantage of Ryan Weathers, but baseball's pretty weird. I did see one chat real quick that said, "How are you going to fade Pete to his face, my guy?"
How are you going to do it?
I didn't know. So I have plausible deniability. I had no idea. I would never fade Pete to his face.
Luckily, you have 2 other picks.
Yes.
And that could hit. I could be wrong. I have been wrong before, and I will be wrong again. So let's talk about, you're saying screw the wind. Screw the wind. I'm taking the under. I love it. I think it's sharp. I don't hate it. Talk to me about it.
So that was the thing. I saw the over total, so I was like, oh, it must be a windy day. Of course it's a windy day. I feel like that's baked into this line. Right?
Oh, it is.
Very much so. Much so baked into this line. I'm just looking at a matchup where, again, we're talking about guys that I really liked going into this season, and it's still an area where you can kind of put your money where your mouth is on the guys that you liked and the value that you can place, the way you kind of faded Manoah in the early going. And I know there's a litany of other guys that you had your edges on that, you've cashed in on the early going here. I really think Hayden Wesneski of the Cubs is going to be a profitable pitcher through the early going.
He's been your guy. I mean, he was a former Yankee guy, so I knew him coming up, but you were always like, dude, this Wesneski guy with the Yankees is great. Then we traded him for Scott Effross, and now Scott Effross is rehabbing a torn ACL, or not, torn UCL.
UCL as a reliever, too, which is crazy. But Wesneski, his first start, I think statistically looks worse than it really was. It was in Cincinnati. He went 4 2/3, only gave up 3 runs, both of which, or 2 home runs contributed to the 3 earned runs, but he punched out 4. Obviously, first start of the year, having to pitch in Cincinnati, not ideal. Yes, it's going to be windy, but he just got feedback on what it's like to pitch in an environment where you're susceptible to home runs. He has a sinker. He has a slider. He's always been an above average ground ball guy. If he just had that, kind of smack in the face of here's what I need to do, I think he's going to do a better job of keeping the ball in the yard this time around. And that's the play I kind of like here to go with Hayden Wesneski.
I like that pitch a lot. Why not Cubs money line?
Sorry, 1 second. I can hear somebody else on the.
Oh, is someone else? In major.
What was the question, Pete?
No, I was just curious. Why not Cubs money line? Right? If you like Hayden Wesneski, why not Cubs? I'm just curious. I'm not saying it's a wrong pick. 'Cause I like the pick.
Sorry. The flip side of it is the reason why I like under 10.5. Chris Flexen looks good, man. I know that's been a profitable guy for you historically, right?
I know. I tail him because he sucks, but he gets outs. And it's I think to myself, I'm watching him and I hit my bet on him and I'm like, oh, I just skated out of that one. That was that shouldn't have happened, but it keeps happening.
So that's the other side of it too, is to build off the under point. Wesneski against a lineup that we just talked about on the Just Baseball show. This Mariners lineup is struggling out of the gate a little bit. And specifically lefties who, Wesneski's had more and more success against. I just feel like he's going to keep that lineup in check. That said, I don't feel confident enough. I was thinking about it for a while, and I was like, I think Flexen's going to hold him in check too. So I just thought the under was the better play, but I don't hate Cubs money line either. That's one that I still am pretty solid on. That was actually my 3rd pick. I thought I had that.
There you go.
I was confused. I was like, wait, that was my 3rd pick. There you go. I have Cubs money line. So
perfect.
I have the under as a slight hedge. The only way I get screwed is if Wesneski gets blown up or it's a slugfest. But my other pick was Cubs money line there too.
I gotta say, I think both of these hit. I think first of all, the wind has been baked into this line. It's clear, right? 10.5 in this type of game with these two pitchers after what those two offenses showed. Like, and you talk about the Mariners offense not really getting going. Like, is the Cubs offense getting going? Right?
Not
They
really.
put up 3 in 10 innings. They had plenty of shots too. They didn't look any good. It's just we expect more from the Mariners. We don't expect all this from the Cubs. And like, none of these two offenses are showing up. I don't think the bullpens are that bad in this matchup. Cubs rested a couple of their guys. They got a lot of good stuff from Keegan Thompson. I think you're going to hit both of these. I really hope you don't hit your first one, though.
If I hit the other two, I'll take it, bro. I'll take it. You hit your one pick, I get my other two. But yeah, I think if it's Cubs and under, I feel really good about at least one of those hitting.
And good thing, you went down 1.1 units your first time on stream, came right back, won 1.58, then you won 0.83. You're up on the year, Mr. Layton.
Hey,
up
who
on
would
the
have
air.
thought?
Who
Why
would've thought?
why not us?
Why not us?
me?
Appreciate you. Plug your Twitter before you go.
Yeah, it's my first name and last name, Aram Layton, and the number 8 on Twitter. You can definitely check me out there. But thanks again, Pete. Looking forward to hopping on when I'm 2-1 on the day, and you can have the first pick. I'll give you that one.
Thank you. You probably go 3-0. Appreciate you, my friend. Good luck in your softball game.
Thank you, man. I need
Why
it.
not us? Why not us?
Peace.
All right, man. Talk to you soon. Do we have mid-major on?
It's Cali
Cali Wagers on first. Money. Greg, Mr. Cali Wager, how are you, my friend?
Good. How about you? Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. Greg, we need a winner out of you, and I know you're due. That's the thing with you, is your picks are well researched, and you win. But so far on stream, because we got to be transparent with the people. If we're looking, you hit every single bet to start, and then you've lost every bet since. So right now you're sitting around -2 units. I mean, it's not that bad because you won every bet leading up. When is the heater starting today? Let us know.
Yeah, MLB seems to be the only baseball league we're struggling in because
Yeah, because
and-
everything else is great.
yeah, KBO, NPB, and college have been really good this year. So MLB is just, and I'm not surprised. I mean, sometimes it takes a little bit of time with the league, and you know, I still feel good about the plays we've put out, and you know, longevity, especially in baseball, really is the key, as we all know.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get into some of your plays today because normally you come with one play, but today you got 3. Let's start with Dodgers money line at -150, 1 unit. Why?
I mean, as much as breaking down the numbers, I feel like is the beginning of what I expected and talked about probably day one with you on the stream in terms of the Giants. I expect them to struggle. I expect this, you know, I expect multiple long losing streaks from this team. And on top of that, you look at Alex Wood, he's struggled against this team, and I expect more of the same. You know, the Dodgers showed up last night offensively. I think that probably rolls into this evening. And, you know, the weather here is really nice in the Bay Area. I expect the ball is going to carry a little bit more tonight. And I expect much more out of the Dodgers offense again this evening.
I think it's smart. It's just like, I kind of lean the under in this game. How's the weather in San Francisco right now?
It's beautiful. It's been nice the last 3 days. Finally, there's a little bit of wind today here in the South Bay, but in terms of, you know, I mean, it's probably 65, 70 degrees here today, so it's been real nice.
Okay. No, I can side with you with the Dodgers. I think it's a good play. I mean, we have other people on stream on it. But let's get to your next one.
And real quick, and I think, you know, this same game is played in a few months. I would expect the Dodgers probably 185 instead of, you know, where they are right now.
I still think the market is being soft on May. I think he's like an ace in our league when he's healthy. It's just he's never healthy and, you know, hasn't shown it. Doesn't have like a super long track record. So we think to ourselves, is he really that guy? Yes. Let's get to your next one. We're looking at the Marlins versus the Phillies under. I kind of lean the over, so I'm very curious about why you like the under.
Biggest thing to me is I expect Nola to finally show up tonight. Obviously, he hasn't started off the season well, but he's getting his first start at home. The Marlins obviously aren't the biggest burners in the world offensively.
No,
and you look at the other side with Luzardo, he's been, you know, delightful. He's what you expected from him long term, like we just heard previously. He's getting that accuracy back in tune. He's showing what, you know, his stuff can be when he is effectively in the strike zone, or at least effectively wild, let's say, because there is a lot to be said about being around the zone, but not, you know, middle all the time. And he's throwing the ball really well. as long as Nola can show up tonight and give the home crowd, which I expect him to be a little more juiced tonight, I do think this thing stays under.
Okay, I could see it. I'm worried about both bullpens because I think the
Yeah,
Marlins
no,
bullpen
totally.
is all.
And I'm hoping if Nola can get them at least past the 5th inning into the 6th, maybe 7th, that, being a little bit hopeful, but he gets them deeper in there, at least they can go a little bit more hitter for hitter.
So I'm just curious too, because Tomas is on the first 5 under, you're on the full game under. Why not the first 5 under? Just curious.
I like the first 5 under just as well. I like it. Honestly, I like it just as much. I like it equally as much. When I put out my plays to you this morning, I'm not always as big of a first 5 guy. But yes, this is in Major League Baseball. I'm not as big a first 5 guy. KBO, I'm a huge first 5 guy. But especially early in the year, I think that we get a decent start from both of these guys. They can be pickier with what they're going to get out of the bullpen tonight. So I lean both sides of it. It's not a bad play either way.
I think it's smart. Let's talk about the Rangers through the first 5. A 2-unit bomb from our guy Greg. Oh, you must love it. Tell us why.
I just think that, to me, I really like what I'm seeing from the Rangers. I think this is the start of good things for them. And I'm expecting a big start tonight. Honestly, we get, to me, a 2-0 first 5 doesn't seem, too crazy. I expect another nice start. I expect what we've gotten early from this Rangers club. And honestly, like I said, I expect big things from them. I have a personal plan on the Rangers to do, pretty big things this year. And I like what I'm seeing so far. Obviously, playing at home helps a little bit, but not having to worry about those 9 at-bats, taking that first 5 innings with a much better starter, in my opinion, and an offense that's showing really good things, it doesn't seem crazy to me at all.
My only problem with this play is you got so much line movement on your side. So for the people listening, right now on BetMGM, -1.5 through the first 5 at -110.
Yeah, and I got it at this one.
No, yeah, exactly. No, this is what your play is. I'm curious for people who want to tail you, like what you just broke down, is it worth it to play the -1.5?
If you were going to do it, I would probably look at it for the full. I would look full game -1.5. And what is the first 5 under right now?
First 5 under is at 4 at -110.
I would maybe lean the first 5 under 4.
Okay.
I could see, like I said, 2-0, 3-0, even 3-1. At least you're pushing, but I wouldn't hate that play. But I would lean, the run line full game with them here.
And the run line full game is -135.
Yeah, and that's okay. That seems feasible.
Perfect, my man. Really appreciate you again. Plug your Twitter because while you've been on a little bit of a cold streak in the MLB, hard to find somebody better in college baseball, MPB, and you're betting on Chinese basketball because you are a degenerate. I hate to say it, but you are a degenerate, but I love you, and that's why you're on the stream. Tell people where they can find you.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at California Wager. Find me at Instagram, California_wager. And then, yeah, like you said, I dive deep in the overnight sports. So KBO, NPB, CPBL a little bit, and then right now is KBL and CBA playoffs for Chinese and Korean basketball. So it's crazy. But hey, my Beijing Ducks are back tonight, so I'm going to DM you some stuff for CBA later. And then we hit our max play again in KBL last night, so we're 40 games over, 82, 42, and 7 in our KBO max plays. So we're continuing to roll on.
You're the most insane person I ever met, and it's phenomenal. I love it. All right, man. I appreciate you, and we'll see you very soon. All right.
Hey, have a good Tuesday.
You too, my man. Talk to you. Let's answer. Do we have someone coming on right now? Or should we answer some things in the chat? Because I know there's a lot of questions here. Barry Bonds over fantasy. What kind of drugs are you on? Thomas, PP with Semyon, and who else? He had Mookie Betts over fantasy. People like Braves. Braves not a bad play. I like Kyle Wright in his return. Orioles a safe lay piece. I mean, Tomas, who's up like 1 billion units, has the -1.5. So I think it's smart to tail him. I mean, he doesn't lose. I mean, he hasn't lost. I'm not even trying to be like, oh, everything he says is locked. But like, what am I supposed to say? He doesn't lose. Even my producer, we were going over the picks for today, and who's coming on. He's grinning ear to ear about Tomas because he's like, the guy's in the green every day. Are you worried about the Cardinals' season? I'm worried about the pitching, not about the hitting. Let's welcome on the next contributor. Oh. The total wizard. You're a total wizard. How are you? Oh, I think your goats are muted.
Am I good now?
Perfect.
Okay, great. The total. I was going to hit you with a, hey, Peter, what's happening? Has anybody ever do that to you before?
No.
You ever seen Office Space?
No.
Oh, my God. Jesus Christ.
What is Office Space?
Never mind. That's watch it. Anyways, yes, the totals continue to roll on. So I think that's 15-3-1 on the year.
Yeah, dude, don't bet a money line ever again. I mean, you might hit them, but like, why?
I know. Although I am doing it tonight. I've got
Okay.
one, and I don't know why, but I'm playing the White Sox. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I am on a total. I got it. I'm not a big CLV guy, but I got a better number at 8 in this Yankees-Guardians game.
Oh.
I believe it actually even opened 7.5. Got it at 8 minus 115. I see it at 8.5 now. Now I will be honest. I don't know anything about the weather. I don't follow that very much. So
While you're talking, I'll figure it out for you.
Okay, great. That's what I was going to say. If you can, maybe it's a weather play, maybe it's not. I just think that this is interesting. I was on the under in the game last night. And the reason was I don't really think a lot of people fully respect Domingo Germán. I think he's a pretty good pitcher. And that was at 7.5. All the bets and money were on the over. Line wasn't budging, and it finished 3-2. Now we got a 7.5 on the rise with Garrett Cole on the mound and Hunter Gaddis, who I believe is coming off a pretty good outing. So I thought that was a little interesting. I refuse to bet against the Guardians anymore because they're just annoying as shit.
You're coming around.
I think
it only took a whole season of me posting Cal's face. I mean, they don't lose. They don't.
Yeah, I fully blame you for that.
You're welcome.
I watched Cal Quantrill for the first time. Actually, that guy looks just like Jason Segel. He's a big goofball, but I mean, how can you? I do find myself rooting for him in a strange way.
He's my goat. He's my guy. I love him.
Yeah, I mean, he looked rough in the first inning, but he settled down because I was so ready to start chirping you.
I gotta be real with you. His stuff does not look like it did last year. His command hasn't either. He's just getting going, and I call him the best pitcher alive. Of course, like Sandy Alcantara is better, but like the reason why I like him is because he led Major League Baseball last year in runs scored, like his own team in terms of run support. They scored over 6 runs a game when he was on the mound, and he had good enough stuff to keep the ball on the ground. But right now, he's missing his spots. And he's a command first guy, but that's not the point. Your point is the over, and Cal Quantrill's not pitching today. It's Hunter Gaddis. To answer your question about the weather, you got 15-mile-an-hour winds blowing this way, east to west. So it's like, I don't think it's a weather play why the line adjusted. I think just some sharp action is on it because it wouldn't be because of the weather. Like, no one's seeing side winds and being like, oh, now, like, the books aren't adjusting for that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does make sense, and I'm happy to hear it. Although I don't get scared off by weather plays, but they do tend to concern me when they're a little too obvious. But yeah, I think the Yankees score. I lean Yankees. I don't have the stones to play them, so I thought about maybe just going with the team total over. But I also have a hunch that we see like a J-Rom bomb or something tonight. So give me the over. 8 minus 1.5. It's at 8.5 right now. Honestly, I'd still play it. And, the first 5 narrative, if you want to go that route, I don't know. I'm trying to get better about this, but I guess it really depends. If you're going to play an over, you'd probably want to rely on a bullpen. And I don't know if the bullpens have been used or abused in this series or with these teams. If that's the case, I'm just going to go with the full game. And that's going to be one of my plays. And I've got one more.
You haven't lost on stream yet?
Yeah, but I've only been on twice, so it's not that impressive.
Oh, you didn't have to ruin it.
Well,
I was trying to hype you up, but yeah, I mean, you're 3-0 on stream so far. You have this over at 8 for Yankees versus Cleveland. I don't even want to say anything because I'm the worst Yankee capper in the world because they're my team, and I just, for some reason, can't read them. Even though I watch every game, it's just like it's a glitch in my brain. Cardinals team total over 6.5. Wow.
Yes. Yeah, that's going to be my next one.
I got to be honest. This
Go
is
ahead.
not a play I expect from you. This almost seems too obvious for you in particular.
Yep, and I'm okay with that. I was on the Dodgers last night. That was pretty obvious.
Baby.
I will pick and choose my spots. I like that they didn't come through last night and the Cardinals lost. But I think everybody's expecting the over in this game because of Mikolas. I don't have an opinion on Mikolas one way or another. but I do like the Cardinals bats. I think that I don't know Freeland very well enough either to get into the specifics of it. But I like the fact that they had, I think it was a 5.5 total or a 6 even total yesterday. They didn't get over that. They didn't even come close. I think they ended with 3 runs, maybe.
I think they had 4, but they didn't go over it. So
yeah, right. Okay, 4 runs, and now they're going against Freeland, and I believe Freeland has had a pretty good start to the year.
Yeah, I hate him.
You hate him?
I hate him because he's registered the worst stuff plus of any major league pitcher, and he doesn't allow runs, and I can't figure it out. He's my new Cueto. So I was gonna bet on it. I love this pick, of course, but I'm banning myself for a little bit. I need to see what is going on. If he's just a baseball anomaly, right? Because we have baseball anomalies. Like he throws 87 and the Cardinals crush lefties in Coors. Like,
yeah,
they should put up 13 runs themselves.
If I remember correctly, the anomaly last year was Perez from the Rangers that people were waiting to come back down to earth, and he took longer than expected.
And Johnny Cueto.
Yeah, so again, I could get burned here, but I'm going to go with the Cardinals. Team total over. I think it shows a decent amount of respect. I like the home run odds for Goldschmidt and Arenado. It's just a lot of respect for the Cardinals. I like their offense. I'm not going to take them to win the game. And yeah, that's it. Those are my 2 plays for tonight.
Let the people know on Twitter where they can find you because you must follow DeGen. His picks are awesome, but I think your humor is even better because I think you're a great personality. Let the people know where they can find you.
Thank you very much. I don't know if it was corp of me to put it in my banner where the name is. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's at the.
I'm sitting in front of 2 sponsored logos. Like I think corp is okay on this channel.
Corp plays here.
Corp plays.
And yeah, I think that'll tee it up nicely for your next. I think Ollie 1 unit's coming on. He's a big corp monster, so that'll be great. All right, good luck. Go Rays, and I will do my best to be on tomorrow.
Talk soon, my man. Thanks again for coming on.
Take it easy.
Producer Cohen, before we welcome on the next person, Colby, can you shut the hell up? You said Freeland and Cal must be cousins. Watch yourself. Why don't you show up on stream and give out a winner instead of putting blasphemous dumb shit in the comments? You think I'm screwing around? There will be no Cal slander anywhere near this. Let's welcome on the next person. Oh, I owe this man an apology. I owe you an apology. But at the same time, didn't I motivate you a little bit? And you came in with winners. You didn't show your face.
Not.
You didn't show your face. And yet, how many units did you win? I know you had 3-0, but you had a 2-unit bomb. We were on that same play.
3.6 or something, 3.3 with the
3.3? Yeah, whatever. Doesn't matter. Just 3.3 units.
No big
whatever.
deal.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What's going on, my man? How are you?
Hey, Peter. What's happening?
Just trying my best to pick winners, and I know you are too. So let's get to your first one.
Yeah, I got a couple today.
Oh yeah, you got a couple, and you're going with Boston versus Tampa Bay, first 5 under 4. I was looking at this game this morning too, and now that you're on it, I'm pissed I didn't bet it. Why do you like it?
It's really, I trust McClanahan. That Red Sox lineup without Duvall, I'm really interested to see what it looks like. That's a huge loss in my opinion. I think he's the hits leader or the average leader or the WRC plus leader or some shit at this point. And losing him, I think, is a huge drop.
That's a good point.
And versus McClanahan, I don't like that. And then
because he's a righty too. Like that's a righty bat that they need. It's not just anyone.
Correct.
Like Devers almost like he also got hit on the hand. I don't like this Red Sox offense right now at all. I like this play.
Yeah. At the same time, this is not Tampa Bay Rays slander because they're clearly the best team of all time. The first team in 36 years, I think, to start 10-0.
Yep. But
their offense has not faced a lot of great pitching. We saw it last night with the Red Sox. They were able to hold the Rays offense to 1 run. And I like Garrett Whitlock. Is he an ace? No. Do I think that they can get 3 runs off him in the first 1 innings? No. I think they probably get 2. I think McClanahan at worst gives up 1. So I think the odds to not go over 4 it's in my favor. To be transparent, I lost every first 5 under against the A's solely because of the Tampa Bay offense.
Yeah.
If they weren't allowing runs, which I still don't expect them to do, but I don't expect them to hit a grand slam every 4th inning. So I think it's good value.
I don't either. But my only question, I think the play is great, and line movement's on your side. Would you play at minus 130? You just put the unit and you lose a little bit of profit if you win, which I think you will.
Yeah, so if that's the case, I don't have the lines currently in front of me, but you can mark it as to be
No, no,
three and
no,
a
you're
half.
good.
What is
You
that?
you
Plus
locked it
100?
in. You locked it in. You're good. I'm just curious. This is the reason I ask is because people coming to then watch the stream, like we're not going to make
No,
you take a
sure.
play that you didn't already make. I'm just
No,
curious for people tailing, do you think minus 130 is still worth being played?
I would not take minus 130. I would buy the. I would go the 3.5. It's probably plus 100. Because if you think
Ooh.
about it, I mean, if for people who are tailing or gambling, starting gambling, whatever, it's the same bet. They have to get no more than 3 runs. 4 is just a push.
Yeah.
So for value wise, long term over a 5,000 game sample size of the MLB, I would take the 3.5 at plus money.
My producer over there, he just gave me the big smile and he's like, yeah, I think he just kind of like said some freaking good shit right there.
I mean, I'm trying to win my bet. Four doesn't get me any money. 3 gets me money. So 3 or less.
That's why you're a goat. Let's move on to your second pick. Oh.
Yes.
Ooh. Marlins, huh? Minus 130?
Yes.
Let's talk about it.
Yes. So this is kind of like the Reds yesterday, which apparently you cannot support, but they scored 0 runs, Peter, and they were still tied in the first 5 innings. So I didn't need any runs out of that offense because of the pitching. And I have a similar feeling on the Marlins today. I know we spoke about Luzardo and how, the Phillies against lefties, all that stuff, and how I am buying Luzardo at his peak, which I'm okay with. But Peter, do you know how many points of WRC plus the Phillies went up just from facing Drew Smeltzer yesterday, a lefty?
15.
Yeah.
15.
33.
Oh,
33.
I thought I was even going high. I was like,
Yeah.
that's early season lines for
They
you.
have a decent average, but I mean they cannot create runs. And Luzardo, with he's locked in right now. I love him. And as you've heard, the first 5 under in this game is probably actually one of the most popular first 5 unders I've heard all day.
Yeah.
Which is a little it is a little scaring me, but like everyone else, I attribute a lot of those runs to be associated with the bullpens once these pitchers are out. But there are some line movement factors and some other factors I took into it. Luzardo actually opened up, I think, the Marlins at plus 130 as an underdog. To open up, he actually opened as a smaller favorite to record a win than Aaron Nola, which is an interesting tidbit. As a plus 130 dog against Aaron Nola at home, after they just lost by 12 runs, after beating Sandy, which is just interesting to me.
That's the
So I do like the
analysis
first
we need.
5 under. I'll take the Marlins plus a half, though. I think it's minus 120.
It's minus 130. Now it's minus 135. So even like you lost a little bit of juice, and then but the line movement is still on your side. Like you are still,
Correct.
even at minus 130, you're getting it before. Now it's minus 135. Let's get to your third pick.
Yep.
Let's get to your third pick because it's another interesting one. I'm on this
Yep.
over, Arm's
Okay.
on this under, and you're
Okay.
on the Mets. Tell us why.
It's simply Weathers versus Peterson. I think that Padres series versus the Braves, which no one expected them to win a single game, and getting 3 of 1 is a huge deal for them in that offense. And Dylan Dodd was the last lefty they faced, and that guy was throwing meatballs, just 90-mile-per-hour meatballs over the heart of the plate.
Yeah.
That's not what Drew Peterson is. He's a big, long lefty. He has that nice slider when he's locked in. That Padres offense did not look great against Scherzer. Obviously, he's a Hall of Famer, but I think the Padres, this is a series they just kind of fall off on offensively. I'm not a Ryan Weathers guy at all, and this total at 9 tells me that the Mets offense gets rolling a little bit.
I can see that. All right, my man. Appreciate you. Those are your 3 picks of the day. Oh, no, you have one more.
I have one more. I have
Our
a
producer's
2-unit.
giving me this. Oh, the 2-unit bomb, and I
I'll
forgot
go
about
quick.
it. I'm
Yeah,
an
I'll try to
idiot.
go quick.
No, you don't have to go quick. That's my fault. I ain't trying to kick you off. I want to hear more of not mid-major Matt's plays. And it's the Nats versus the Angels first 5 under. 2-unit bomb.
It's
Why?
Ohtani, brother. It's obviously fully trusting Ohtani. At the same time,
Yeah.
I think a lot of these runs at 8.5, I think they're gonna come from the bullpens. The Angels bullpen is bottom 5 in the league. We're awful. We're not good. I watched a very smart channel called, I think, Just Baseball. I think it's called on YouTube. They were looking at teams, and they referenced the Nats bullpen at the last half of last season actually performed pretty well.
Yeah.
I think they're top 10, I believe.
They have 2 really good arms right now. Carl Edwards Jr.
They do.
and Hunter Harvey. The problem is when they don't pitch, they get destroyed. So whenever I'm looking at Nationals team total, I'm like, are they available? If they are, I don't mind it. But the problem is a lot of other bullpens, they have 4 solid guys who you can throw to. But it's they have those 2, and then the rest are just awful. So it's if they can hold it, but if not, It's going to be
Exactly. So I think those two guys pitched 2 of the last 3 days, so I don't think they're available. So which tells me a lot of those runs come after Otani and Josiah Gray exit. If Josiah Gray gives up 3 runs, I don't expect Otani to give up more than run. If he does, I mean, I'll eat the crow. I'll lose the money there, but I'll trust Otani with my money against the Nationals lineup, who has been putrid against right-handed pitchers in the season. So first 5 under 4.5, I think it's excellent value. I think it's -125. And I'll still eat the juice there. Laying 2 units.
You're a king. Appreciate you, my guy. I don't know. Where are you going? You're in the car right now? You going somewhere?
I got places to be. Don't worry about me.
I like that.
You sit here. You listen to plays. I got places to be, brother.
Have a good rest of your day, my man. Always a pleasure. Guys. Plug your Twitter before you go. No, plug your Twitter before you go.
Not mid-major Matt.
Not mid-major Matt on Twitter. Guys,
yes, sir.
Love this man. I'll talk to you soon, all right?
Appreciate it.
Okay. LMAO at Degen Weekly. You suck. Can't spell you suck without, I don't know. Why are people, they're giving picks for free. They suck. You're a loser. Can you lay off my guy? Please. Let's get to the next one. Who's up next? Ooh, first time on stream. Ollie 1 unit. How you doing, buddy?
Good day.
Good day. Can you turn your mic volume up just a tad?
I can put it closer to my face. That's about as good as it's going to get.
Yeah, and it sounds great.
Okay.
You look great.
Thank you. Appreciate it. It's almost golf season where I'm from, so with the warmer weather, you get a more energized Ollie.
I like that. I like that a lot. And it's your first time on stream. You haven't lost a bet on stream yet.
You're not wrong.
I'm not wrong.
Ollie, apparently, I'm not the only one, though. So let's get right to it, though. I don't want to waste any time. It's my favorite day of the week. Mitch Keller is pitching today. People keep laughing at me for liking Mitch Keller. I've been on the Mitch Keller wagon for like a year and a half now.
I think it's the way you bring it up.
Well,
it's
he's
like me.
good.
Like people laugh at me for Quantrill because it's like, oh yeah, it's a lock. People are like,
okay,
why?
but Mitch Keller's actually got stuff. Cal Quantrill has results. Mitch Keller has stuff. There's two different things there. For those that don't know about Mitch Keller, he was a top prospect with the Pirates 4 or 5 years ago. Came up, was just brutal for about 2 years. I'm talking. Remember Hunter Green the first few months last year, just like 94-mile-an-hour fastballs over the heart of plate, getting crushed. But what do good players do? They adjust and they change. Like Graham Ashcraft is throwing sliders now. Mitch Keller started throwing a sinker last year. He has 2 curveballs this year. For those that don't know, he's throwing what Baseball Savant classifies as a sweeper and
do any of them work?
I'm glad you asked. Mitch Keller's curveball this year has been thrown, let me get the exact number up, 32 times this year, 28 times to left-handed hitters. So he throws his curveball to lefties and his sweeper to righties. Fun fact. His curveball's been thrown 32 times this year, as I just mentioned. So he'll be throwing this to Jordan, Kyle Tucker, the only 2 lefties I think are a threat in the Astros lineup. 0 hits. Average launch angle, -24. 26 spin RPMs. So don't sleep on Mitch Keller. I think he's a stud. And then on the other side, I mean, just look at this Pirates lineup today, Peter. Without O'Neal Cruz, we can't really take anything that the Pirates have done for granted. We got Ji-Hwan Bae leading off, cool center fielder, cool story, not a leadoff hitter in the major leagues. Brian Reynolds, one of the hottest hitters in the league, sure, I'll give you him. Pitch around him because you know what's behind him? G-Man Choi and Carlos Santana in 2023.
This is a terrible lineup.
It's just a terrible lineup, top to bottom. Christian Javier, as long as he's got his command, because he definitely has had his times where he'll walk 5 guys, but he's got the strikeout stuff against a lineup that he can really attack today, where the Pirates won't score in the first 5, and Mitch Keller will definitely hold the Astros to 2 or less. So the first 5 under 4 at +100. I really, really love this play. Mitch Keller went into Fenway Park, the third best hitters ballpark, and shut down the Red Sox when they were on fire, let up 1 run in 7 innings through 110 pitches. So I really, really like this first 500 today.
Dude, you're in the clear. The best hitter for the Astros isn't even in the lineup today. Corey Folks.
Who?
Corey Folks.
Well,
That
you
is
know
a real
who's in the
player, I
lineup.
promise. Dude, he
You
is
know,
on fire, and he's not in the lineup
I've-
today.
I didn't know anything about him, but I am all for Rule 5 guys.
Yeah, dude, he has
all
been
for it.
crazy. I like this
all for
play,
it.
dude. At plus 100, let me see where the line is just to see if the line moved in your favor and just for anyone hoping to tail this play because you are the Mitch Keller Whisperer.
my
You are
guy.
the Mitch Keller Whisperer. So let's
my
see.
guy.
Let's see before you go. First 5 innings. Oh, yeah, you got a little line. I mean, minus 105. I assume you'd still take it.
Of course.
Bang. Ollie, great to have you on stream. Always love talking
I do
baseball
have
with you.
Prize Picks.
Oh, do we have that
Play.
recorded?
I put it in a little on the late side. Someone was asking me about it. I want to give it out either way.
Yeah, just give it out. It won't be tracked on stream for your official plays, but like.
Well, that's a shame because it's free, but that's all right.
All right, let's hear it.
At first, it was Alednis Diaz under hit, run, and RBI, but he's not in the lineup, so we're switching to the other athletic that got put in his place, and that's Tony Kemp
Ooh,
under 1.5 hit, run, RBI.
screw him.
The Oakland Athletics, top to bottom, I don't remember the last time we've seen a team just this bad. Like the Orioles were bad, really bad after the Machado and whatnot, after all that. But at least they always were like, oh, maybe this guy will be good. The A's offensively, like, who are we? Are we excited about Astoria Ruiz? Maybe. He's the 9 hitter. Tony Kemp is 6 for 30 this year against right-handed pitching. He is 2 for 13 on the road so far this season. He's leading off. He will not touch Grayson. I think collectively know Grayson Rodriguez is going to be a stud in this league. After the first inning, his first career start on the road in Texas, opposed Jacob deGrom, right? That game?
Yep.
Yeah, a little bit less pressure here at home against Oakland Athletics. He'll be fine. And then behind him, if he gets on base via error or walk, or if he somehow does get a hit, we've got Noda and Aguilar. Noda's 1 for 10 on the road this year with a home run. Aguilar against right-handed pitching this year is 2 for 19, so nobody's driving him in. So give me that paired with my guy, Garrett Whitlock, over 4.5 strikeouts. Look, I know the Rays have been them. Like, they've been incredible. Don't get me wrong. Garrett Whitlock's the best pitcher they faced so far.
Yes.
He's
that is
better
a
than
fact.
Nick Pivetta. He's better than any other pitcher they faced so far. He looked solid in his rehab starts. The stat line, sure, it's AA. You don't really consider it, but he threw over 80 pitches. So I'm assuming we're going to hit to the 80, 90 pitch mark, which gives you 2.5, 3 times through the order. And you're going to see those guys that haven't necessarily been striking out for the Rays, like Francisco Mejia, for some reason, has a 25% walk rate against righties this year. That's going to come back down to earth. And Brandon Lau hasn't been striking out this year against righties, who's been putting up really good at bats, but we know who Brandon Lau is. He's strikeout susceptible. And then you've got other guys in the Red Sox, in the Rays lineup, Isaac Paredes, Luke Raley, Vito Brujan, Josh Lowe, all guys I think would be susceptible to a strikeout. 4.5 is not an unreasonable number at all. I think I really do think Garrett Whitlock should get this. My only fear, the Rays are either striking out or mashing the ball. There's really no in between. And my only really fear is, for some reason, Twitter absolutely adores Garrett Whitlock today out of nowhere, which is wild. It just makes no sense. So that's really my only fear. But Ollie Baseball Brain, I really try not to do anything Red Sox related because I was like you. I'm really, really bad at capping my favorite team.
I don't know why.
But
Like,
today,
what is that? We just have no
it's
idea
just
what
bias.
they're doing.
It's
We
just
watch
every
it every
time I'm
day.
like-
Yeah, I'm just
Every time
biased.
I'm like, the Red Sox today. Actually, I think the Red Sox won't win. But most days I'm like, yeah, the Red Sox suck. There's no way they get swept at home by the Pirates, right? No way. That goes into it. But yeah, it won't be on record. But that's the 2-teamer I'm riding today. I really, really like it.
Henry has it. He stages.
You're a king. Oh, Henry does have it.
Yeah.
So it is tracked. We just don't
See,
have the graphic.
I'm not making it up. I did have to adjust because Aledmus Diaz wasn't in the lineup. Had to
Probably
switch
why.
out for Tony Kemp.
There you go.
But either way, that's the 2-teamer.
0.5 units. What are you putting on it?
Yeah, half unit on each play. Half unit on because I've had a pretty miserable start to the season.
Okay.
Not great, hitting like 40-ish% or something like that, down 3 units. I've been managing my bankroll well, so I'm not in the gutter.
Wow.
But 0.5 units on the first 5 under, 0.5 units on the prize picks. little, if I collect in, I can go buy like a meal at Five Guys. It's going to be great.
Love it, my man. Appreciate you again for coming on stream. Excited to have you on all season long. Love talking ball with you. Plug your Twitter for the people so they can find your picks.
Yep, just a simple Ollie 1 unit. If you're throwing off, the profile picture is right now Thomas the Tank Engine with Tom Kim's face on there because Tom Kim is winning the RBC Heritage this weekend. So that's why it's different. But don't be alarmed. It is me.
You're the goal, my man. We'll talk to you soon, all right? Appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me. See ya.
All right. So first time chat from PK_Hambino. Julks idiot. Two things. You're right. It's Corey Julks. I might have said folks. It's Julks. I'm not an idiot. I'm not smart. Not an idiot. I messed up the pronunciation. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you here. All right. Let's move on to the next person on stream. Oh, shit. It's the man with the plan, Jake Hazen. What'd you do yesterday? Did you win any bets? Yeah,
we
probably.
somehow won money after that Braves ladder. We went up like 0.3 units, and I couldn't be more happy.
But the thing is, I don't think you didn't give out the Braves ladder as an official play. You went up 1.25 on stream, so you're chilling. It's just your other picks. But on stream, you gave out 3, you won 2, and now let's look. So you won a unit. The next day you won a unit. Next day you won a unit. Next day you won 1.55. Next day you won 0.1. Next day you won 1.25. Can you just have a losing day, please?
Unit a day. Well, my picks are a bit ballsy today, so today might be the day.
Let's start with a literal insano play. Producer Cohen, can you throw up the Nationals money line for me, please? Like, dude, hey, when you're hot, you're hot. Tell us why you're throwing a full unit on the Nats, you insane person.
Well, first off, I'm a full unit because I go fully on everything, even if it's plus 270, plus 250.
Why not us?
Unit everything. But second off, this is we're getting a gut pick here, and for those who don't know, I am an Angels fan, but I'm not a very biased Angels fan. I saw people were buying stock the Angels coming into this season, and my big write-up was like, yeah, rotation, potentially top 10 lineup, should be having a very improved defense this year, but the bullpen's just so freaking bad, it doesn't matter.
Jimmy Herget has a good slider.
Dude, I hate that guy.
Carlos Estevez.
I thought I liked Lance until he got crushed against the Blue Jays, so I don't like that guy anymore.
Yeah,
it's a very short leash for me, these Angel bullpen guys. Very short leash. But as I was saying, so I noticed throughout being an Angels fan, and I watch every single Ohtani start because why aren't you watching every single Ohtani start? The guy's one of the most. It's just nothing to be said. And whenever he's minus 250, minus 300, the Angels ship. They're shippers when they're minus 300. It's just what they do. And it's not even Ohtani's fault per se. Look what's happened. I had A's money line opening day. Ohtani was like minus 250. He looked freaking amazing. He was shoving. He was hitting well. He was doing everything like you should do. But
I had the under in that game, and the A's won. I had the under. You had the A's, and we both cashed because Ohtani did everything that he could, and then they blew it.
And that's what happens every time when he's minus 250, minus 300. He plays like it, but just rest the team. I don't know. This team just doesn't have, they just don't show up for big moments. And I guess every single time Ohtani's starting, it's a pretty big moment. And just rest the team just kind of just doesn't play. So like I said, this is more of just a gut pick. From watching the Angels is just like plus 265. I have to take it. In Josiah Gray's terms, I mean, he's set to giving up home runs, so that's not good against this lineup. He's better on the road. He's nothing special. First half season last year, though, oh my God, he was Cy Young on the road, but that kind of that regressed. He finished like a 3.72 ERA. It's just Angels minus 300, bro. I gotta fade it. I have to.
I respect it. Like, whether it hits or not, Tomas came on and gave Nationals money line yesterday. So if your bet hits, then the Angels are gonna get swept by the Nats. Then should we just be Guardians fans? Because I hate the Yankees and they're my favorite team. Let's just be Guardians fans.
About those Angels, man, dude. I gotta escape. I don't know if I'm gonna switch teams. I think I'm gonna have to go with. God, I don't really know. Let's go Angels.
I know, easy. I'd be a Guardians
Cubs
fan.
probably. I probably have to go with the Cubs.
I like that. Let's get to your next pick. Ooh, another dog. Scrooge Shane McClanahan, right?
No, it's not really much of a Shane McClanahan fade. It's just more of a getting Whitlock at that price against this. And Peter, I texted you about this. The play is Red Sox first 5 money line. I remember you were texting me about that over in that Rays game. and I'm really pissed I didn't take advantage of this, but I was Rays are great. I'm not here one to slam the Rays. Like Matt said, the best team ever. No one's ever been better than this Rays team. But they haven't seen anything good stuff wise from any pitchers they've faced so far. I don't think they face a lot of AAA guys, dude. Like very, very bad pitchers.
Yeah.
And
I mean, James Caprillion he's all right.
He's not AAA level bad guy, but he's
Nick
not
Pivetta, Major League. The rest,
and
like Shintaro Fujinami, does not know where it's going.
His stuff is nasty. He just doesn't know where to put it.
Has no idea.
But I was saying, I talked to you about Pivetta. I'm like, this is first interesting anything like real from the pitcher. I don't expect him to hit well, and it was 1-0. The game was an absolute snooze fest, and the over made a lot of sense, right? But I just wanted to kind of cheap on that.
No, I agree. I didn't end up taking it. I thought it was a trap. I was like, this is too good to be true, and then we didn't take it, and it finished 1-0.
Well, it made sense. Like baseball sense. Yeah. I went under though, but we're going back to that same term today because Garrett Whitlock, this guy, I love Whitlock. I'm a big Whitlock guy. I backed him really heavily to start the season last year, and the start he had last year was incredible. He kind of came down to earth later throughout, but plus 150 against this for this Red Sox team. I think I'm going to take it on the road here. With I'm just more hoping this is more of a value play. I'm hoping Whitlock's going to shove. Do I am coming here saying McClellan's going to get rocked? No, I think it could be a 1-0, 2-1, just low scoring side. I'm just going to take the dog here at plus 150.
I think it's good too because you're not taking them on the full game money line, right? Because you don't like the Red Sox bullpen. Let's say it's 2-2 after 5, you push. So it's like you have push potential and you're getting plus 150.
They aren't losing the first 5. I'm very confident on that. It may push, but I think I just got to take the plus 150 here.
Let's go.
I'm a big guy who likes to target dogs, and here's a favorite.
Minnesota Twins minus 150. So you're getting some good stuff on the underdogs, and now you're laying juice. What's up? Talk to me.
I'm a big Pablo Lopez fan. First off,
yeah.
I don't know the exact numbers, but I know it's insane. I'm pretty sure Foolish Baseball says something about this. If you just took Pablo Lopez's Mets starts away last year, because he finished like a 3.75 ERA.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure his ERA was like. Yeah, he was pretty high up. Yeah. But he just took away all his starts against the Mets. And he pitched well against there's a lot of really good teams that division outside the Mets. He finished like a 2.55 ERA. He just took away his Mets starts. That team just owned him. So I was pretty high on Pablo Lopez coming this season. And here's another spot I think I could back him. So when it comes to Lance Lynn, I mean, I don't really know what to say about this guy, Peter. Is he ever going to be good again? I mean,
I think he's good, but history against the Twins has been terrible, but at the same time, this Twins lineup doesn't look the same, like no Correa in the lineup and stuff. And a guy who crushed Lance Lynn last year, Luis Ariz, not on the team anymore. So, like, a lot of those numbers, Correa had some really good days against him, Ariz had some really good days against him, and now they're not in the lineup. But at the same time, the White Sox lineup is now without Tim Anderson, and Pablo Lopez is clearly the better pitcher. So,
yeah,
I lean with you. One last thing on this play. Minus 165 on BetMGM. Still playable?
That's tough. I usually say screw it, play it no matter what, but that's really tough to lay. I don't know if I want to really run line this game too with the home team.
What I would do here, I think what you probably want, don't put 1.65 units on it. Just play 1.5 units at minus 165.
I know there's some parlay guys in here. Actually, looking at this whole board, Peter, like lines don't matter. My most confident team, where I'm just like very, very confident they win today, are the Twins. Just throw lines aside.
There you go.
So parlay guys out there, you can go and just throw it in a parlay.
Love it, my man. Next play. Ooh. Grayson's shoving, and so is Kyle Muller.
More of just Grayson shoving, because that lineup is horrible. I mean, I'm not going to that for sure has been a couple people coming on today and telling us how bad his lineup is, and they're not wrong. I can promise you that. When it comes to Kyle Muller's term, I believe he is due for a little bit of regression, but I just don't know how much regression he's clearly due for. I'm more worried about his third time through the lineup today, which I'm hoping will coming in the later end of the 5th inning, 6th inning, and help at that time enough insurance. But I think Grayson Rodriguez might go perfect through 5 today, dude. I mean, this A's lineup is like, he may have faced better lineups in AAA. Is that crazy to say?
No, I don't think it is. I mean, it's obviously crazy to say, but like it's not that crazy, right?
It's
like
really not.
It's
I mean,
not
I'm sure. I'm sure. I made like similar lineups, though. I'm sure, but I think it's a come out home opener. I think this is like Ollie brought it up and Bunch brought it up. This is a lot less pressure from facing DeGrom on the road in your first ever start.
That's a good point.
I think he's come out and shoved today. I think Moore's going to be fine outing. I think he may give up 3 runs. I think he may give up 4. But Grayson's not letting up anything. I think he's going Proto through 5.
Love him, my man. Plug your Twitter where people can find your plays.
It is Jake MOB 31.
Perfect, my man. Really appreciate you coming on again. One of the hottest bettors on planet Earth. Killing it in the baseball sphere. Appreciate you. We see you on stream all the time, and you literally haven't lost yet. So appreciate you coming on. We'll talk to you soon, all right?
I just, man.
All right. Next up, we got 2 more, right? We got Javon and we got Colby, and then it's a wrap. Who we start with first, Javon or Colby? Javon, the milkman. The milkman. How are you, my friend?
Good. How are you?
Doing my best. Just trying to pick winners, as I assume you are too. And let's get to your first one, not waste anybody's time. All right? We got business to attend to. You got a court background. I got a court background. We're time to give winners.
Yeah, we're stepping up in the world.
Yeah, we're stepping up in the world. We put a background in it. Milwaukee. Ooh.
Yeah.
Whoa. Milwaukee money line and the run line. What's gotten into you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, those are the ones that we're tracking here, but I would be lying if I didn't have a 2.5 as well in the pocket. But I love the Brewers today, and part of it, yes, I think Corbin Burns is going to pitch very, very well. Matches up well against this D-backs team. I mean, just looking at it, yes, I know he's been bad to start the season. I don't think he's broken, though. I think there's clearly still something there, which is not the hottest take with a Cy Young caliber pitcher. But I look at this lineup. One thing that I guess I've become very familiar with from watching the GOAT, best player of the MLB, Josh Rojas, quite a bit last year in that D-backs lineup, a lot of that team and lineup cannot hit the cutter. And we talk about like the only guys who could. The only guys with positive run values against the cutter all of last season, Dalton Varsho, Perdomo, and Jake Hager. So
Perdomo?
Yeah, Perdomo's
Is he going to lead the team to wins off?
Yeah, he just might have to. If if I lose strictly to Perdomo, then I'll chalk it up to the game. But the rest of that lineup, when you bust them inside with a cutter, they struggle, really struggle. And it's not just, especially Rojas, that was very frustrating over the course of the year, but a majority of that lineup. And I mean, one of the other guys that was decent at it too was Stone Garrett, who's also not on the team anymore. So it's a really good matchup for him. And I think he gets it going today and has a really strong outing. But on the other side, I think Merrill Kelly, a lot of the things that I guess, I don't know if you were involved in that, but what we expected to see from him against the Dodgers in those couple starts. The Dodgers are his father. I think a lot of people expected him to get roughed up, me included. I think he gets roughed up even worse than he did, or we expected him to in those starts. So I think this is the regression start that's coming. He's been getting the ball hit hard off of him. And I looked at those Dodgers start, and if anybody watched those Dodgers start, I've never seen more fastballs left over the middle of the plate in my life. And I mean, I'm looking at some of his just stats early on in the season. Average exit velo, 93.3. And I look at some other pitchers, like a guy we love to target, average exit velo 92.3. That's Jose Urena. Just looking at like some of the numbers that are crazy in comparison, especially on the fastball, it's 96.8. And I'm looking at some of the worst pitches in the league. I'm looking at, 93.9 for Chad Kuhl's sinker last year. So he is getting the ball smacked off of him. And I'm talking about just looking at random expected numbers to compare that to. 7.44 expected ERA, which is crazy in itself. I look at a guy who's really struggled this year in Jose Barrios. He's only said, 5.92. So just like put it in perspective, Merrill Kelly is going to get the regression monster hit hard for him. And I think it comes against this Brewers lineup that talk about him missing fastballs. Who's hitting fastballs well? A majority of that lineup, especially those young guys in Weimer and Garrett Mitchell and Bryce Terang even. And I know he doesn't have great numbers off of him, historically, but I think Yelich has a really good game as well. And you talk about Jesse Winker having a good game too. I mean, that whole lineup is something that I really am targeting today, and I think they're going to rake off them.
You sold me on the Brewers. I think that's a great play. My only problem, the reason I didn't play it, because I was looking at the same things you were looking at, right? That I think Merrill Kelly is due for regression. One thing that you didn't touch on that I was looking at this morning, which almost led me to play the Brewers. The reason I didn't, of course, is it's kind of similar to Gallon. I yesterday bet. Oh, did Javon just disappear? Let's.
He's right here.
Oh, hold on.
Our collab cam just went out.
Oh, crap.
Yeah.
Are we gonna be able to get on Colby?
We'd have to drop and come back, I think.
All right. Basically, what we're gonna do. Unfortunately, this is the end of the stream. Our collab cam just went out. So, Javon's picks. So, Javon's picks. He's on the Brewers money line at -125 for 1 unit. It's all right. It's all right. We're almost done anyway. He is on the Milwaukee Brewers -1.5 for 0.5 units at +125. I like both of them, honestly. And the one thing that I was going to say that helps his point even more, Merrill Kelly is a guy who fills up the zone with this heater. Now, with these rookies, sometimes it's a little bit more difficult, right? Rookies, if they're chasing outside the zone, if they're dealing with a guy who throws some balls, like they can start chasing. Merrill Kelly, really in the zone. That only helps these Brewers. Now, the Prize Picks entry that he's going to be on is Sam Hilliard over half a total base and Robbie Grossman over half a total base. And I love his Brewers play, but if you know Javon, you know that he crushes Prize Picks. So again, he's got 1 unit on this Prize Picks play. So it's the biggest Prize Picks entry on our stream today. It is Sam Hilliard on the Atlanta Braves over half a base and Robbie Grossman on the Rangers over half a base. All right? We have Colby right here who's going to give his picks on the Cloud Cam. I'm just going to let him speak into the mic.
What's going on? Wow, it's crazy to be behind or in front of the camera, dude.
Yeah, how do you feel?
I mean, I'm like used to just looking at you on the screen and just doing everything here, and here I am just talking into a camera. Pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
I'm ready to give some winners today because I've been giving nothing but
cake.
losers.
Yeah, nothing but cake. But you're due. You also horrible bad beats yesterday.
Bad beats.
I mean, I told you that Reds Braves under was so sharp. It's 0-0 through 6 innings, and then we got home runs in the end, and
any game that goes to extra innings, you just know fuckeries about
except
that.
my Wrigley under, which didn't hit, even though there's bases loaded and whatever. Give your winners.
I feel good about these plays today. I'm bringing some underdogs today.
Okay.
That I really like, and all first 5 plays. So get in, get out. The way games move these days, literally the first 5 innings take like 45 minutes sometimes. Like it is so fast. So what play do we got up first, Colin? Producer Colin. All right, we got
Cubs
first 5. I got burned on Cubs first 5 the last time that Hayden Wesneski started. His first start of the year. I was on him in Great American Ballpark, and that was just not the right play. So now Wesneski's making his first home start of the year, and I'm thinking that he's going to bounce back here. You have Chris Flexen on the mound for the Mariners, who has been beat up, but come away unscathed in each of his 2 outings.
He was so profitable for me these past few years because I'm like, the books think he's the worst pitcher on planet Earth. Peripherals say he should retire, and then he allows 2 runs.
He is one of those,
the chat
They'd kill me.
He's got a little bit of that in him.
He does have a little bit of that in him, but I'm taking
Wesneski is objectively a better pitcher.
Totally. And I'm expecting him to bounce back from not a bad outing in his first outing, but just kind of a little bit of a struggle against the Reds in Great American Ballpark, which they're a different offense in Great American Ballpark, right?
They are.
So I really like...
And against lefties.
And I think I like this Cubs offense maybe a little bit better than the Mariners right now. I mean, the Mariners offense has been floundering. They're stacking lefties in the back of this lineup, which is interesting. I think they're doing that strategically to maybe mess with Wesneski a little bit, but I think that Wesneski's going to come in here with a good start, but I think the Cubs can put up runs with the wind blowing out. So Cubs first 5 money line -125. I'm just going with a Wesneski system play, basically.
I love it. Let me see if line value's on your side right now, because you grabbed it at -125. Let's see. Right now, the Cubs on the money line are -120, and if I'm not mistaken, first 5 innings -125. Same thing.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, yeah. Let's move on to the next one. We got Marlins. This play, I am so in love with this play. One, because Jesus Luzardo might be one of the best 5 pitchers in baseball right now. And when he's healthy, he really has the stuff to beat at. The fastball is insane in the upper 90s, getting insane run on that. Really, really great whiff rate. But then he comes with a slider and a changeup, which every pitch he throws at you has insane movement. It's hard, it's fast, and you're going to whiff. That's the fact of it.
I love him.
And hear me out here, but I will take this Marlins lineup, which actually they're deploying the optimal lineup that they should be deploying all the time today. I'm trying to pull it up here. Where is it? You have Jazz, Garrett Cooper, Arise, Soler, De La Cruz, Gurriel,
This is
Segura,
their best
Fortes,
lineup.
Birdie. It is their best lineup.
By far. I don't know why they don't do it every day. This is the lineup they should always put out. They're not that good, but this is easily their best lineup. They're putting like Jazz in the 4-hole and bullshit like that. This is easily their best lineup.
So hear me out. I like this lineup against Nola, who has not been sharp in each of his 2 starts to start the year. And when he gets in these kind of little funks, he gets kind of in his own head and stays in them. He very well could bounce back. But then you go to Luzardo, who I just talked about, right, being so good. This Phillies lineup is not their best at all right now. And Trey Turner has been struggling mightily. He has the 5th highest out-of-zone swing percentage this year. Javi Baez is chasing a ton, which is not like him. And it's a small sample, but maybe he's in a little bit of a
against Luzardo, it's not going to help.
Exactly.
It's not going to help. Yeah.
So I'm just fading the Phillies in this spot, and I think the Marlins can at least put 1 to 2 on the board. And I think that's all they need. So at plus value here, Marlins money line plus 125 for the first 5.
And worst comes to worst, push.
Yeah.
Worst comes to worst, push. Next play. What do you got?
What do we have? Ooh. Who was on this? Was Tomas on this as well?
I think mid-major. Let me see.
Somebody else was on this. But regardless, I'll get into it. So, Adley Rutschman. I'll start there.
Oh, Jake Hazen. Jake Hazen's on this.
I will start with Adley Rutschman because Adley's obviously the MVP of this team, right? He has been off to a tearing start to this year, but for his career, an 86 WRC plus against lefties, a 157 WRC plus against righties.
Jeez.
He's mashed lefties this year. He actually has like a
really
250 WRC plus this year on against lefties. He's been hot, and it might not matter, but I'm going to play the bigger sample there and go, okay, well, he's actually worse versus lefties. Kyle Muller is formidable. I think he can put up a decent start here, 2 earned, 3 earned, but I think Grayson doesn't give up a run. Grayson looked really, really good in his first start after that first inning where he walked a couple guys and the command wasn't there. The rest of that game, the command was there. The fastball looked sharp. He had a 35% whiff rate on that fastball. The slider had a 50% whiff rate. So I don't even think Grayson gives up a run to this just awful A's lineup.
You don't think the A's are good?
Oh my God. I mean, this might be the worst lineup they've put out all year, which is insane.
Oh, much.
I mean, you have Brent Rooker hitting
Kevin
4th.
Smith is hitting 6th.
You have 2 players in this A's lineup today that have a WRC plus above 100 on the season, and the only one with a WRC plus above 106 or 108 is Ryan Noda.
I think he's 1 for 10 against righties this year.
So
yeah,
yes,
good plays, my man. And then, but you still got one more: San Diego Padres first 5 money line.
Yeah. So this is my it's gross to fade the Mets in this spot, and it's gross to tail Ryan Weathers, right? But that's why I love this play so much, because I feel like the market is undervaluing Ryan Weathers a bit and basically labeling him as an auto fade. Like, I think for the past year or two, whenever we see Ryan Weathers on the mound, it's like, oh, yep, fading that. But he's actually been a different pitcher this year. He's been averaging 96 mile an hour on his fastball. He's been a guy that's hurt for the last 2 years. The slider has always been a plus pitch for him, a big sweeper. And then the changeup yielded poor batted ball results, but it gets a ton of whiffs. But I think he's going to throw a lot of sliders tonight. And I think that the Padres at this value are a better lineup than the Mets currently. And I think that they can get to David Peterson.
I agree. I think they're going to get to David Peterson. I think Weathers is due for like 5 innings, 3 runs. And I think as Peterson is due for 5 innings, 4. Right? So I think I love the over. Arms on the under. And you're on the Mets. Or you're on the Padres. I think
somebody else is on the Mets.
Someone else is on the Mets.
Mid-major?
Mid-major. Mid-major is on the Mets. 1 unit at plus 105.
We got a little 4-way there.
We got a little 4-way. Colby, great picks.
Appreciate you.
You're due. He's due.
I am due.
You're due. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Again, thank you for listening to Not Gambling Advice, the baseball betting stream. Again, make sure to download the Pickett Sports app to track all of our plays. Download BetMGM and use code JustBaseball to get a full deposit match up to $1,000, as well as on Prize Picks. Use code JustBaseball. 100% deposit match up to $100. That was all the plays for today. I think we're going to roll. I'm really excited. We got a big day of baseball ahead of us. But we have to remember, not gambling advice.